Hey y'all, what's up? JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel, honey. Listen, can we talk? Can we talk about LaTocha Scott primarily? Okay, over at Watch What Happens Live. Now I do know that Coco got a chance to sit down with her as well, but I more so want to talk about Miss LaTocha Scott and the questions that she answered when it came down to Andy. Andy asked her a lot of hard questions, a lot of questions that a lot of the people wanted to know. Some of the questions I felt like Tasha has been very prepped accordingly on how to answer questions, and I will give her that, because the way she was sliding off of some of those questions, girl, and not really giving us an answer at times, I personally felt, but it is what it is. And honestly, at this point, I think that we all have created an image of Miss Tasha where I think a lot of what she say isn't going to matter. We're not going to believe her 100%. So it's like she damned if she do, and she definitely damned if she don't. So she might as well rock however she chooses to rock, because we might not believe her no way, okay? But anywho, let's go ahead and talk about the sit down with Andy Cohen, because he asked her about her having an open relationship, and these were things that came out of Tasha's mouth. All right, this isn't something someone else put on her or anything. This came out of her mouth, and her way of cleaning that up was saying that there is no open relationship, but there is open communication. For me, that is saying that you have an open relationship, okay? I don't understand how you're trying to disguise it now as open communication when you said on your own live on more than one chance, more than one time on your own live, you said a lot of people do not like to admit the fact that they're in an open relationship, open marriage, whatever the terms were that you use it. But that's what you're in. Then you went on to confirm that you're in an open marriage, okay, without our request, but yours by yourself. We didn't even request that you go live. That was something that you chose to do. And you go live, and then you say, that you're in this open marriage not once but twice. Then you follow it up by saying, everything. These are the things that you said, okay? And it wasn't that people took something and ran with it. They took exactly what you said and ran with that, all right? So, anywho, she says when it comes to the money, she knows nothing about it. And I feel like that wasn't really answering the question that he asked, but that's always her response. She knew nothing about it. And it's like, whether you knew about it then, before the show, on the show, or whatever, you know about it now. So what is your response now to her accusing you of such a thing, right? But my thing is, I do believe Tamika and Kandi knew of Tamika, meaning Tiny. I do believe Tiny and Kandi knew about this ahead of time. I also believe that her mother knew about it as well. So how is it everyone knows, but you didn't know, and you just found out about this on the show? Just like you just found out about the fact that Rocky was getting a kickback on the show. Like, I'm not when you know everything. You know what I'm saying? So she says that she never took a duo deal, because that was asked, like, what are your thoughts about the duo deal with the sister? She says she never took the sister's duo deal. She says one thing about it is what's for you is for you, what's for me is for me, and I can't take anything away from you. That's for you. She says my thing is, when I was getting ready to make this album, this inspirational gospel album, basically she was admitting that she and her sister were bumping heads and nobody wanted to create in that type of space. So she, took her deal or whatever and went and did her thing. For me, that really only confirmed what it is Tamika had already told us on her YouTube channel about how that came about, and how when she said that she wanted 50% things split down the middle, whatever the case was, Tasha felt insulted. Tasha went off. They started arguing. Next thing you know, Tasha wanted to do it by herself. So her admitting that they were bumping heads, for me, leads me to believe exactly what Tamika said. And when you say what's for you is for you, then my thing is this. If what's for you is for you, then why would you sit up there and blame Miss Kandi Burruss for shutting down whatever solo deal you were supposed to get a long time ago, if what's for you is for you? And if you feel like you can't take anything from your sister, then you got to know that Kandi couldn't take anything from you, because, as you said, what's for you is for you. In addition to that, you're saying that you don't want to create this type of album around, you fussing with your sister and this and that or whatever, but you're still creating this album while you're fussing with your Xscape members. You're making this album while being accused of making of stealing $30,000, and then you're still making this album while other allegations are flying about your husband husband dealing with other women and possible, babies in addition, okay? Babies that did not make it, but, women being pregnant or whatever the case is, okay? So, that definitely had me a little confused, Miss Ma'am, And again, girl, this is just how we see it break down on TV and social media, okay? Now, the question came up about her unfollowing her sister and blocking her. Changing her number and blocking her sister. She said she never blocked her sister, but her sister did unfollow her on social media. She said the reason she changed her number was because nobody was really using it anyway, and she had a whole lot going on. And for me personally, just feel like that's really no excuse for real, for real. Like that's still your sister. Like she could at least have, gotten your number or whatever, or you could give us a better response. Like I wasn't featuring my sister at that time, so I changed my number on. I didn't want to talk to her, whatever. But anywho, she speaks on Tamika being a troubled kid because that's where she goes into the conversation of saying that she, had a lot going on basically when she was a child, basically saying that Tamika would get in a lot of trouble. They would try to tell Tamika, like, it seemed like they would get on to Tamika a lot. And it sounded like she was saying her mom would do it, she would do it, and other people would do it as well. Then go on to say that Tamika has issues. And that's where I have my problem. Because what you're giving for me when you say that, it sounds like when you say that you don't refer to your sister as a liar, you don't always say that she's a liar in your interviews, as you stated, but you do insinuate that she is one. You also insinuate that she just makes up stories and stuff, and that she's a troubled kid or was a troubled kid with a troubled mind, so she'll just say whatever. Like, that's the little shit that you do. Like, saying that your sister had issues. Now, you could very well be telling, the truth that she had issues, but it doesn't mean that she's lying about that, especially when she came to the front with receipts, and she had Tiny's mom to back her up on that. So, girl, not making no sense, okay? What else? She talks about Xscape and how she wants them to be successful. It's just the three of them. At some point, she does hope to return if they're open to having her back. And I think you got to let time go on for a little bit. I think that she'll definitely be back in the group at the end of the day. Despite their issues, people have been able to go and return. So I'm sure Tasha will definitely be back with Xscape. They just need to allow things to cool down at this time. She did say that she wished they would have had more respect to make the group Xscape 3 or 3 Xscape or whatever, out of respect for her, because when Kandi did not want to be a part of the group, she says that they all agreed to do that or whatever. So she says she wished that, they would have did it this time around. Okay, that's what she says. I don't feel like when y'all did, I don't know the details about whether Kandi told y'all not to use the Xscape name or what, but I feel like y'all should have kept the name as Xscape. Like, I think that should be a staple. No matter who goes, who comes, whoever's remaining, it will always be Xscape. Period. That's what I would think, girl. It should always stay the same. It shouldn't be one or the other. So I feel like she may have had something right there, but we'll see. Anywho, Andy inquires about her husband's shady dealings, and she says that she wasn't in the messages, and that was giving deflection as well. Like, girl, how did you feel when somebody approached you with this tea about your husband? And she just pretty much, I felt deflected and just said, listen, I wasn't in the messages. I don't know what was said or anything like that. Everybody got stuff to say. Like, matter of fact, get Rocky up here. Rocky should be the person addressing and answering these questions because he's the one that did it. And my thing with that is I feel like, one, that was your way of deflecting. Good job. And then two, that's also your way of likely getting him up there just so that he can do some type of damage control in front of a larger audience. So, yeah, get him up there and let him address it. Yeah, good night and goodbye. All right. Tasha says that she doesn't call her sister a liar. We talked about that. And she says that she reached out to her sister. She is yet to get a response back from her sister. She said, but my thing is this: you did not mind not talking to your sister just a few weeks ago. Now that social media has lit your ass up, now all of a sudden you want to get on the phone with her. Now people telling you they not listening to your album and they not finna do this, they not finna do that. Now you want to sit up there and get on the phone with her when it's affecting you. But you didn't care how things were happening when it was affecting her. Right? That's what I'm just like, I think that's lame till she dropped them receipts and now you want to talk. I don't blame Tamika not picking up your fucking phone call. Girl, I do not blame her at all, okay? Period. And then she goes on to say that the fans are making things worse. Girl, y'all made it worse by yourself. When she said what she said about your butt, it was already worse because you was already in your feelings. When she brought up the situation about you taking the money, girl, that ain't got shit to do with us. Y'all was already at y'all worst, okay? Period. Don't be trying to put that on us. She was asked about the SEX tape that Tamika brought up, okay? How did her mom respond to, her sister accusing her of having an SEX tape? And Tasha was like, SEX tape? She was shaking her head, but how I digested her shaking her head was like, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. So I don't know if she was saying, no, I don't want to talk about that, or if she was saying, I don't know nothing about that. That's what I got. I don't know nothing about it because that's what she says about everything else. I don't know. That didn't happen or whatever and deny it. So, that's what I got from it. And I believe everything Tamika said with the receipts of the text messages to prove what was said and her admitting to it. So cut it out. Anywho, LaTocha says that, when Andy asked her about Rocky being the brain, as Miss Kandi labeled him as the brain, she says that Rocky isn't the brain. She has no issue speaking. As we saw, she was up there answering all of the questions that Andy had inquired about. But she also says that he's very smart and that iron sharpens iron is what she said. Then she went on to say 28 years, baby. And I kind of chuckled to myself, like, not you saying 28 years, like that's really a badge of honor. Okay? Girl, I mean, I guess as you get older, it might be, but to endure all of the bullshit that you got, I don't want to hear nothing about nobody 10 plus years unless it was a healthy ass 10 plus years. Do not tell me shit about that. 28 years, baby. Not 28 years of being controlled is what it's giving. Girl, not 28 years, and here y'all are looking a damn fool. Okay? And this mistress is doing multiple interviews, airing him the fuck out. Okay? And you talking about a damn open relationship only to find out it's just open communication, only for people to find out how much more of a liar you are. Girl, I can't. But either way, girl, this was a cute season, I will say. I'll get the review out to you guys at some point tomorrow or whatever. We might go live. But the season was very, very interesting. Although we dragged Miss Tasha on behalf of her husband, I mean, I do hope at some point, not no time soon, but at some point she and Tamika can sit down, have a conversation, and get in a better place. But I don't think, one, things will ever be the same again. And two, based on the history of what all happened with this show and other stuff. But in addition to that, I do feel like as long as Rocky is around, I feel like Tamika will always keep her distance from her sister, and it's just, what it is. I think they'll come together when they need to be, but outside of that, they'll only deal with each other occasionally, in my personal opinion. But that was pretty much that. Miss Coco kind of got shady when somebody asked her about how she felt about Kandi, saying that this was the real her, and she was like, Kandi doesn't even know me to know the real me. Baby, listen, I don't care what nobody say. I really do not think that Coco features Kandi at all. I do not know why. I don't know if it was just because of the show or if it was from before the show, but she does not feature that lady. And I don't care what nobody say, but it is what it is. So girl, if y'all decide to do a concert together, girl, I might still slide out there. Just let me know, honey. But as far as the season 2, that's dead. I don't think we're going to get that. Would be nice, but these ladies are done, and unfortunately, so are the relationships, okay? But that's all I got. Just wanted to come to y'all with a little something, okay? I'm Jamie, that's me, honey. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JamiThatsMe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.